for the Get to the Point review.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Get to the Point review podcast. I'm your host, Kelly McKinney of Hohenheim Productions.
And I'm your other host, Josh Gibson from Fourth Wall Players.
And this week is our 420 special, after 420, but nonetheless.
We're a little late.
And of course, we are joined by a very special guest, Bill Levin, founder of the Church of Cannabis, Canitarian, and a philanthropist. And me and Bill met almost 10 years ago when I was working for Ron Paul and the Libertarian Party and doing all my activism and stuff like that. We'd run into each other at events and, get together and worship with some cannabis, which we're going to do again here today. I got my bowl loaded. I didn't have something rolled, apparently, unfortunately. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing swell. How are you guys?
Doing great.
You're doing great.
How did 2020 treat you?
I really think if it wasn't for Tiger King, I would have lost my mind.
How do you know you didn't?
Yeah, well, there's a good point. Mind is a terrible thing to lose, but if you lost it, you don't even know it.
You wouldn't know. Yeah, you wouldn't know. Exactly. And so I wonder, what's the status of the Church of Cannabis in 2021?
We're still up. We're still serving our friends on the street. We'll open, we will be having more activities as the city and the state open back up.
Right.
We don't know what they are, but we'll come up with something witty and wise.
Wonderful.
We have July 1st coming up, which is the opening of our church. It'll be 6 years ago that the city spent $30,000 on my grand opening.
Right. Yep. I remember that.
They had all sorts of fun parking attendants, about 70 or 80 parking attendants. It was really nice. They had a camera there so they can keep an eye on us, had little drones flying around. God, I love my town.
I know. Yeah. Right. It's interesting how people living free becomes a security risk.
Right.
And what's supposed to be a free nation, right? What's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, part of our 420 special is normally we review a recent movie and then a review by a recent movie.
Yes.
But we're kind of combining this here because rather than doing the review of a recent movie, we're doing two recent movies. One that you had to be high to watch. Okay. And the second one that might get you high off of violence.
Right.
So, and we're going to go ahead and start with the violence here with Mortal Kombat 2021. And Josh, do you want to open us up with that? Because
Sure. This is my Get to the Point review of Mortal Kombat was chosen combatants trained to find hidden powers that apparently come from self-esteem. Hiroyuki Sanada was the best part of Scorpion. Really lame, though, that there was no actual competition for them to fight in.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's for two. They're saving the competition for two.
That's for number two, right?
Right.
After they killed off all the other Outworlders, right?
Well, just the few that they wanted to introduce.
The coolest
only
one.
Like 4.
Cabal is like the coolest. I love Cabal.
Yeah, Cabal is really cool. I honestly didn't. I do not have a Get to the Point review on Mortal Kombat 2021.
You're speechless about Mortal Kombat.
I'm speechless because there were really bad parts of it and there were really, really good parts of it. There's a lot of parts that were just incredibly satisfying. So the only way to review this is just to say Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's pretty much wraps it up. But yes, I'm as disappointed as I was at parts of this one. I really, really hope they do a sequel for the simple fact that it should be basically the tournament that we were promised.
Right.
And so not only that, but we'll get the introduction of Johnny Cage. But I loved the casting for so many, except for the main character.
Yeah, I did not.
For pretty much everyone else that they did. Although I would have loved it if they brought back the original actor for Shang Tsung.
Oh, right, yeah.
From the first Mortal Kombat. I love that guy to death.
Was it Carrie.
I can never remember his name. I just
Yeah,
remember
it's
that
like-
he
it's
was
like
the
a-
grandpa
yeah.
in Johnny Tsunami.
Right. Carrie Haruki something. I don't remember that.
He's amazing too. He's amazing, and he's still. You can't beat that performance with Shang Tsung. Did you see you saw the most recent Mortal Kombat, Bill?
I was watching it earlier, and it meh.
Yeah. No, you get to what? I can't believe that they made Sonya Exposition Blade. That really disappointed me. But
I'm not familiar with the folklore of the universe, but just the whole presentation of it was a meh.
Yeah.
It's another big budget film that really missed its mark because it doesn't explain it to the people who don't know the background of it.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, hi, I'm a dad. I missed that whole gaming thing. My games were Pac-Man.
Right.
Okay, and Star Castle. You know, I'm old school as it is. And when this came out into a movie, hi, let's take a game and make a movie. I sort of put a poll out there and I said, when did we start making feature films about games?
The 90s.
90s, right?
Well, no, I think we could go back into Clue.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
sure.
guess,
Sure. Yep.
But that's an exception.
And it was like, wow, I didn't think about it, but they now make films about games, and games never really had a plot other than, hey, get that fucker.
Right. Well, I think that's why Clue works better than most, because it is kind of a mystery
Right, because they
sort
can
of
fill
story
it as a
behind it.
mystery. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them do definitely fall short.
Well, and while we're talking about 70s, 80s, and merchandising, brings us great segue into the movie that you absolutely had to be high to watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Zilla versus Kong 2021.
Mhm.
Did you see Zilla versus Kong, Bill?
Universal what?
Yes.
Zilla versus.
Zilla versus Kong.
Yeah. Zilla.
Yeah, it's. I remember going to the Lafayette Square Drive-In to see the version of Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
So of course, I had to see this, and yeah, that's definitely a three-doob film.
Nice. Yeah. For sure. You might want to dab before you step into that one.
Yeah. Couple cookies, brownie.
I think I would have been very disappointed if I'd seen it in theaters and spent $30 to watch it. But
Right.
watching it free late at night was cool. I'm all right with it.
It's only because I was already paying for Mortal Kombat with HBO Max that I didn't go see it in theaters. I would have went and seen.
I would have seen that in theaters. Oh yeah.
And still, I wouldn't have regretted spending the money because of the fun moments that were in it. You know what I mean?
In it, you know what? It kind of came out. We did trailer reactions to both of these movies on our What It Is segments, and for me, I feel like exactly what I thought from the trailer is what I got in the movies.
That's not what I.
Really?
Okay, for Zilla versus Kong, yes.
Yeah.
For Mortal Kombat, no.
Oh, well, I don't know what
the
you
trailer hyped. The trailer hyped the Mortal Kombat movie more so for me than the movie.
Fair enough.
The movie fell short compared to what I was expecting from the trailer.
Fair enough.
I was expecting them for them to do better than the 1995 version, which I already enjoyed. And they.
It was about the same.
It was about the same.
Yeah.
The same level of enjoyment. The parts that I enjoyed about the 1995 version are different than the 2021 version that I enjoyed. When it came to Zilla versus Kong, the only thing I enjoyed about watching this movie was knowing that exactly what you predicted from the trailer is exactly what freaking happened. I thought about the merchandising opportunities.
Yeah.
It's like if they make a 7-inch Mecha Godzilla?
Yeah.
I get it, and then paint it Ninja Turtle colors, because I think it would be dope to have one that's painted Ninja Turtle colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's one of the Ninja Turtles.
Godzilla versus Kong is a monster buddy movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these two are going to have other buddy movies where they go out and kick ass of various creatures because they're building that universe.
Yep.
You
I
know,
was really hoping.
Marvel comes along and says, this is how you build a universe.
Yeah.
And every other film director goes, oh my God, I could have a serial in feature-length films. Thank you. And they just, everybody's building their universes now. And the one to watch is going to be John Favreau. John Favreau is going to do his best to create more characters because he gets royalty off of every character he creates.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the Mandalorian money goes to Favreau because the Mandalorian was not a regular character in Lucas's Star Wars.
Right.
So the more creatures he creates, the more creatures he gets royalties on. And everybody, all the studios, ooh, let's create a universe. Let's create a universe. Yeah. We're going to have an alien universe and a predator universe.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. I don't like what they've done. With
yeah, they
Prometheus
have. That was
one
kind
right
of
after that. I know
they've dropped the ball on the chain on the franchise, but there's still a spark of life in it.
Right.
No, for sure.
It doesn't mean they can't find someone to turn around.
This is what I'm actually looking forward to is what the independent film world is going to do with fan films now that these universes have been opened up, because most of the time that's what the goal of a fan film is to live in the universe that was already created a little longer.
Yeah, have like a branch off.
So to have these large detailed ones, I think opens up the way for great stuff for fan films.
Yep.
And an example of that is the one in our last episode, we talked about the Indiegogo campaign for Barbara, the Batgirl fan film. Like that's just another great example of how things have kind of expanded there.
So do you have a get to the point review for Zilla versus Kong?
Not one better than Bill. It blew my mind that he said it was a buddy cop. I was like, oh my God, it is a buddy cop. It's totally a buddy cop film. And now I'm just picturing how crazy it'll be when they're, facing all of them. You know what I mean? Like the horde of all of the different monsters, because then the difference is how they fight, right? Because you've got Kong, who's, has consciousness essentially, right?
Right.
And Godzilla's still instinct, right, for the most part. So there's that where at what point do they continue fighting each other again?
Right.
They've already squared off and given each other a nod or a wink, at the end of the film where, okay, you're cool. All right, you're cool. And then they split their ways. And it's like, yeah, you're setting this up for a buddy franchise.
Right.
Yep.
Which I think makes what we saw okay.
Yeah.
I was just hoping that, I knew he wasn't going to because of plot armor, but I was really hoping Kong wasn't going to die. Even though I knew he wasn't going to, it was just kind of like, I don't want him to go out like a bitch.
Right.
And he didn't. He did kind of bow down to Godzilla, but he did help tear out Mechagodzilla's head. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was the moments that were cool. Like this was tolerable to watch, right?
Oh yeah.
Where so many of the evenly matched CGI, like even at the end of Mortal Kombat,
right.
It was frustrating to me that when we start out the fight with Scorpion having the upper hand, but then it takes both of them, even though Cole sucks. Right. And there were the parts that were cringe for me were super cringe.
The only thing I would have to add from a get to the point review, I guess that I had written down from my get to the point review was that having Tarzan force Kong to lead them to the center of the earth, I was really disappointed that they didn't run across Brendan Fraser.
Yay!
That's all I had to add.
No, Brendan's busy at.
He's on the yeah.
Oh, dude, have you seen that series?
Moon Patrol.
Yeah,
I've not started it up yet.
It makes me love Brendan Fraser all the more.
Right,
he's outstanding in this role. I want a Brendan Fraser action figure of that character.
Right. I've always loved Brendan Fraser, so that's good to hear that he's got a good movie again, like a
Talking
good
about
role again.
Bedazzled, Brendan Fraser.
It's a fabulous vehicle for him.
Bedazzled, but that doesn't mean I don't like Brendan Fraser.
No, I'm just.
I'm talking like
because
Mummy Brendan Fraser,
my mind
Encino
is
Man
just going
Brendan
through.
Fraser.
Yeah, I know. Yes, but my mind is just going through the
He did
different
do a lot of pretty bad
screen
ones.
rant. No, just the screen rant videos about how, for whatever reason, Hollywood wouldn't touch him for a while.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that always frustrated.
Well,
me.
that's come out, so
Yeah, well, that's always frustrated me. So I'm glad to hear that he's got something
right.
good going on too.
Yeah.
I've definitely got to check that.
Now
out.
he deserves it.
Right. Okay, so basically that brings us into our top 5 stoner films of all time.
Yeah, we still have a show.
We do. We still have a show. We still have a show. We still have a show. We still have a whole show.
It's just waving on the rails a little bit.
Well, because I mean, in stoner fashion, I didn't have get to the point reviews over
At
the
all.
2 recent
Yeah.
movies. I literally wrote nothing down. Nothing down for them.
That is funny.
But I wrote plenty down for my other ones.
Yeah.
Because I could not. I still am basically undecided on Mortal Kombat 2021. I want to watch it again, which will be my 3rd time.
Yeah.
Right, and then the 1995 version right after, or maybe I need to watch the 1995.
Watch the 95 version
and
first.
then this one, and determine which one I like better, if I actually enjoyed it.
I think I had more fun with the new one than I did the 95 version. That doesn't necessarily mean it was better.
Right.
I just thought the fight scenes were more fun to watch.
Yeah,
for the most part.
the only fight scene that I was disappointed with was Cole's against
Goro. Yeah, that was
and Jax against the other guy.
because didn't he got saved by his wife too, who's not even like a fighter.
But you know what? I thought it was pretty dope that she buried an axe into
Yeah,
his side.
well, that
it was
was
like
pretty-
sweet.
that
He's
was
not
pretty cool.
invulnerable. You
But,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
but yes, no, I agree. Yeah,
like dude,
I already-
win your own fights,
but I
man.
knew that they
Like
needed his
he had
family
to
to be in
get
danger.
he had to get bailed out against Melina too. Sonya killed Melina for him.
Sonya, yeah, right. And again, Sonya, badass casting.
Scorpion took out Sub-Zero.
Awesome casting choice. I really liked her fight against Kano.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Really
knew
like
the minute that they said she didn't have one and he did.
That
I
she
was
was
like,
going
oh,
to take
he's
it.
gonna turn on
I know,
them.
it
She's
was
gonna
so-
kill him.
And I feel like they took too long to get to.
Oh heck yeah! they
Just
did.
like we took way too long to get back to the fact that we were just
get-
about to talk about our top
let's
5
get
stoner
back
films
on
of all
track.
time.
Let's get-
That's right. Bill, do you want to kick us off with one of your favorite stoner films of all time?
let me go back to one of the first ones I saw that has not reblossomed.
Mm.
In the late 60s, early 70s, there was a very popular book called Berkeley to Boston, 40 Brick Lost Bag Blues. The book was made into a movie. Now, in the book, there were 12 characters, 15 characters. In the movie, there were like 6 characters. So they took a lot of the characters and they composited them into one person.
Right.
It is a wonderful reality-based smugglers film of what was going on in the late 60s, early 70s. I lived in a time when we didn't have baggage check.
Right.
Okay. We didn't have baggage check. You can put whatever you wanted into a suitcase and throw it on the plane. When you go to the airport and you pick up that suitcase off a carousel and you smell it before you see it, and you're standing there in a crowd of people picking that bag up and going for the exit door, that's where you find your brass balls.
Right.
This movie is based on that.
Okay.
And a lot of us who did travel with weight find this a cornerstone of a fond memory of past days.
Nice.
When they started inspecting bags, I was 19, I think, and I had a pet boa constrictor. And I was flying from Indianapolis to Cleveland. And for the first time, somebody said, I want to see what's in your bag. And I said, okay. She screamed. Everybody came over, and I put the snake back in the bag, closed the bag, and assured them that the airline said it's okay as long as he stays in his crate or bag.
Right.
And they let me on the plane. And at that point in my life, I realized that traveling on planes had changed.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Right.
it didn't stop.
Berkeley to Boston, 40 Brick Lost Bag Blues. It's out there on the internet. I think it's over on Daily Motion.
Gotcha. Right. Nice. Okay.
And it has some young stars in it. You look at it and you go, oh my God, he's young.
Right. Oh, yeah. I always love those moments and recognize someone who's still working now. You know, it's like, holy crap.
Like seeing young Angela Lansbury is just so weird to me.
Right. Yeah, there we go. There's one. Okay, so let's see. To pick, all right, I'm gonna go with since my shirt kind of gives it away, right? The dude. We'll go with Big Lebowski in 1998, and basically, yeah. To summarize this one, I think get to the point of review fashion.
That's almost a religious film.
It really is. It really is. I touch on that. It's a Coen Brothers masterpiece with an all-star cast and a cult following. And obviously, if you haven't seen it, shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of yellow. You know, I mean, like that's all there is to say about it. What's your first?
Hold on, I got to take something out of the oven. Keep talking.
All right.
What's your next one?
So my first get to the point review. Yeah.
What's our next one?
What's our next one? Is Dazed and Confused.
That's
So-
a classic too.
So my review is coming of age story of a group of high schoolers who constantly get high while a sexual predator is turned cool via Matthew McConaughey's catchy phrases.
Which you'll notice from the beginning of our intro.
Right.
When he's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Dazed and Confused. That's a good one. That's a classic. That
Right.
It's just like, I'm
And it goes
sure
down
it's
from
gonna hit
there.
someone.
I'm just letting you know.
No, as far as good.
As far as
good the
quality of the movie.
See, and that's the thing. So
Well, no, I guess maybe not. Anyway, sorry.
my list is sort of unique because I knew I know all of the stoner. I've watched so many stoner films,
It doesn't surprise me.
but so many of them are just they're trash, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like ridiculous plot lines, and
Like-
it's like, you know what? Like stoner films don't have to be stupid, okay? And that's why The Big Lebowski made my list. It's not stupid.
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of stupid shit happening,
yeah.
but you have to be watching to pay attention to
Mhm.
get that it was a joke.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
Coen Brothers. It's high. It's, you know, fucking high brain shit. You know,
Mhm.
five head stuff, right? Yeah. So like so you'll notice that my list are not only, you know, some of these are stoner films, but some of them are just films that I like to smoke too. Like when I watch them, they make me want to smoke. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's just to forewarn everyone with my list here. So Bill, number 2.
Leaves of Grass.
Nice. Yeah. See, I almost chose that one too. And how would you say?
It's a good, straightforward storytelling movie with no bullshit in it. And the actor's outstanding, and I can't think of his name if my life depended on it.
Kind of like Humboldt County. You know, like,
Well, yeah, it did bring the triangle into mind.
yep, exactly. Yeah. That's a great one. Awesome. Oh,
You
it's
went after
me
him last
now.
time.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
that's
see?
you.
You know, I should probably hit the bull again.
Lots of issues today, folks.
We are. It's not even technical. It's our 420 special. It's a special episode, and its flow goes just from one right to the next. So, the second one on my list is Friday, 1995. Okay, this one, I'd argue that this is one of the most balanced stoner films ever. Like, especially for encasing just what happens in one day in like South Central, LA,
Right.
You know. Yeah, of course, naturally, it's got classic Chris Tucker, you know, lots of phrases from that are iconic, and it's a great stoner film that I think, because of the standards that have been set by stoner films since then, gets overlooked. People kind of forget. It's like, oh yeah, that's a stoner film, and it's because of how well balanced it is. Most people jump to like Pineapple Express or even The Big Lebowski because it's it's like a religion, right? So
my next get to the point review to segue to that is Pineapple Express.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
Movie cautions us on the dangers of befriending our weed dealers by giving Seth Rogen's character the worst 2 days of his life when he inadvertently witnesses a murder.
Yeah, Pineapple Express. It's it's Pineapple Express. Like that's just always comes straight to mind is that he picked it up and he smelled it.
I love
knew what
Gary
it was.
Cole in that movie. I love Gary Cole generally,
Yes.
but he was so great. That and Talladega Nights, I thought he was.
Oh my god!
Well, hell, Bobby, I was probably high when I said that.
And coincidentally, all over the streets, there just happened to be some pineapple flavored ganja all over North America when the movie came out. Right. And I'm not really sure how he worked that, but it seemed to work really well because all of a sudden everybody in North America had pineapple something.
Right. What have you been smoking on recently?
They're all fine. They're all hybrids, and I'm tired of hybrids. I would like to see the original land race back in my collection, but it's hard to find. The original Afghani, the original Pakistani, the original Thai, original Colombian, original Panama Red. These are old friends that I'd like to see again. They have a unique flavor and robust smoke that has been hybrid out of everything I taste now.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So at Northern Lights, that's not a hybrid.
That's one of the old school strains. Yeah. I mean, I'll smoke that.
So is Genius, right? Isn't Genius one of the old school strains too?
Never heard of it.
First hybrids. Yeah.
First hybrid, I think, was truly Skunk One. That came out of Cannabis Castle. It was Northern Lights by something else.
Right.
And if you had the original Skunk One in your pocket up there in northern Indiana, I would be able to smell it down here.
Right.
It was named for a reason. And you could have it wrapped up in a baggie, inside foil, inside a Ziploc. And I could still smell it from here. They don't make that anymore because the farmers are too scared because it announces that it's being grown.
Right.
Hey, look at me, I'm being grown here. Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah.
It's an old friend I miss.
Right. Yeah, I've got a hybrid too. Mine's GMO cookies. Awful name. Awful name. Awful name. All right. You got Pineapple Express. Okay. Mm-hmm. Bill, you're next.
Let's get back to the classic, Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat. I saw that one. I saw that on a couple of lists too.
Fritz the Cat is an accurate history piece of what it was like to live in the late 60s. In the late 60s, we had a time where we all discovered psychedelics, and then we all discovered what was called the love generation, free love, i.e., you don't have to be married to have a little fun.
Yeah.
This was a cultural revolution.
Right.
And that film captures the reality of it really, really well. It's guys picked up guitars for the only reason to get laid.
Right.
Now, women are enjoying free sex. Oh, well, I'm a guitar player. So it's an accurate rendition of what it was like in the late 60s. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any other film really captures that feel the way Fritz the Cat does.
That's great. Right. That's great. Nice.
Now two again.
Okay, you're gonna have to orchestrate this.
I'm orchestrating it. Okay.
All right. So let's see. If we're moving forward in time, then even though we went from 98 to 95, now we'll move up to I put the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Okay, because every single time
I mean, they do smoke out of those pipes.
every single time Gandalf or one of the hobbits smokes and it's a chill moment,
Yeah.
like I'm smoking too, especially love the Gandalf pipe. I still need to get like a big long wooden pipe that I want to smoke out of one of those. And I basically summarized it to say that it's a stoner action fantasy trilogy about the longest walk ever. And of course, it's a ridiculous get to the point review because it's ridiculous if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen them, it's just not your type of film, and I don't expect you to spend 9 to 12 hours tracking them down.
Yeah.
So it's just how it is. That's how I would. That's my stoner get to the point review.
Well, there you go.
That one.
My next get to the point review. Mine is also short on this one. Is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Another classic.
And again, it's one of those, if you haven't seen it, you're probably not going to.
Right.
So it's a brave story of two men who trek across the country to end a movie production that misrepresents them.
Right. Yes, I know. Right. Which is crazy. It's crazy that that got there from Clerks and Clerks 2, right?
This happened in between them, actually.
It happened in between them. Okay. Yeah. It's because.
But no, they went from Jersey
right
all the way to LA. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Lord of the Rings backwards.
Yeah, so Lord of the Rings backwards. Yeah. Right.
All right, Bill, number 4 on your list.
I'll have to go back to Ralph Bakshi again and Wizards.
Okay.
Wizards. Huh.
Wizards was an animated quest film. I don't know. It's your typical Wizard quest film, and Bakshi, who was a cartoonist, brought film into it, and then drew or had special effects over the film to be the cartoons.
Right.
So when the horse riders came in their armor and stuff, he had real horse riders on real horses, and then he just drew every frame over it.
Right.
So there was some spectacular effects. And it's one of those films you just got to watch baked. I mean, it was a midnight movie. When I was a kid, it was at the midnight movies, and everybody, we all got baked in line and we watched midnight movies till 3 a.m.
Nice. Yeah.
Great. I'd heard of that movie. I'd not. Yeah. So I've not seen it, but I have heard it mentioned multiple times on like different YouTube videos about.
Ralph Bakshi made about a half a dozen films in the late 70s, and some of them are not politically correct right now.
Right.
Yeah. No. Right.
It doesn't translate. It's like you couldn't remake Blazing Saddles now if you wanted to.
No. Yeah. Right.
And he had some films of that ilk that were accurate.
Yeah.
In our culturally accurate.
Right, for the times, absolutely. And I think it's.
But yeah, Wizards is a great quest film.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous to censor stuff was made for the time it was made. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
you can't view something with the history in mind. What the fuck is wrong?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Then you need to see a psychiatrist or go back to grade school or something, right? Like, there's something developmentally
like you need to
wrong.
understand the world existed before 1995.
Yes, the world existed before 1995.
I mean,
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. As you don't make Gone with the Wind today, but that doesn't mean that when it was made, it wasn't, a masterpiece.
Or that doing it now, it still isn't. Like, it still is. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's a lot of people don't like it now because of it favoring the southern.
I guess I'm thinking of movies like Casablanca.
Yeah.
Still fucking amazing.
Well, Casablanca, I mean,
Gone with the Wind was the first swearing on film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, he said, "Damn."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
My whole culture and belief system is shocked.
Right. They let this happen. Oh man. And so speaking of being French,
There you go.
my next,
Wait, what?
yeah, wait, what? Yeah, my number 4 is It's Complicated from 2009. Again,
Is that the Alec Baldwin one?
the Alec Baldwin,
Okay.
Meryl Streep, yes, okay,
Alec Baldwin.
because it's legendary stoner Steve Martin, okay, courts Meryl Streep amidst the best of Alec Baldwin in a smokable, munchable rom-com viewing experience. Like this, it's like, and every time I see Steve Martin, I picture his like behind the scenes interview from Saturday Night Live. Okay. And he's talking about, he's like, there were so many drugs going on backstage. He's like, like it's
all
so
the drugs.
He's like, it's so fun that when I view this with my mom, because like there's a clip of me rolling up a joint, okay, taking my belt off and wrapping it around my arm and putting the joint on my arm and going, oh. And she's like, she hits him and goes, I can't believe you put that stuff in your arm. Like she didn't get the joke. You know what I mean? Like nothing happened. The joint's not even lit, so he doesn't burn his arm. Nothing happened. She doesn't get the joke.
Yeah.
But his whole thing was like, but he's always smoked weed and kind of thing, So seeing Steve Martin smoke up with Meryl Streep in this movie is fun. And then Alec Baldwin, like it's literally like the best of Alec Baldwin.
I think Alec Baldwin has been mentioned on every one of our
really?
Because I almost always do the Alec Baldwin every time we mention this name. So
we should invite him on to be a guest.
We should invite him on to our next
There we go.
episode.
There we go. Alec Baldwin. What else?
The greatest actor in the world.
Yeah, right.
So my next get to the point review is Dude, Where's My Car? Like you ever lose your keys? Imagine losing your car. Prequel to the Hangover trilogy. Stars Ashton Kutcher and Seann William Scott retracing their steps from the night before. Spoiler, the car was parked a few spots down from where they initially looked.
Yeah, that one's classic. But again, it's like one of those ones that's so dumb that it couldn't make my list. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, I was running out of things. It was that or Your Highness, and that's even worse. So I don't want to do that.
Or Your Highness. Oh boy. Bill, closing up your list.
One that you need to see stoned is Todd Browning's Freaks. It's a love story of two short people and their twisted adventures in a carnival.
Okay.
And it's culturally accurate for its time period.
Right.
It had been banned in 23 or 32 countries because it was the only film that ever used true circus freaks.
Oh,
okay.
They had real pinheads. They had a guy with no arms and legs who could roll his own cigarette. Yeah, right there.
Do the math there.
Yeah, do the math there.
Yeah, it's one of the more beautiful films ever made, but because the actors were deformed, people shun the film.
Right.
There's two endings of the film. The proper ending is a happy scene in front of a fireplace. Okay. But the clowns who re-edit go for shock value. And a lot of times they just end the film in a shock value way without telling you what happens.
Right.
It's a magnificent film and one it's one I've had in my collection, ever since I could collect.
Right.
And I discovered after many years that there was two endings, which sort of pissed me off that I saw the wrong ending first.
Right.
And then I saw the other ending and it's like, well, who the hell decided to end this that way?
I had the same reaction.
Which film company decided to, let's change the ending of the film so we have better shock value. And it's like, you assholes, this was a great love movie. Who, right now you blame a studio.
I've always blamed the studio.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
I did it before it was cool.
I did it before it was cool. Nice. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like about so when I first saw Butterfly Effect in theaters, they ended it with him telling the little girl at a birthday party, like, stay away from me or I'll kill you and your whole damn family. And like, so then they never had a relationship. That was like the only way to, like fix their lives or whatever. Spoiler alert. And in all the versions that I see of it now, okay, apparently it's the only one I can find is the alternate ending where he kills himself as a fetus and is just never born.
That would just be too much of a
I just
time paradox.
Don't understand how ridiculous. I just don't understand why they would go with the more ridiculous.
Time travel is just hard.
Time travel is just hard. That's what it sounds like.
You got to put it in the goofiest movies possible, because if you think for 2 seconds about, well, how does this work, then it just tears down the entire argument.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Well, no time travel needed to get to my last.
Okay.
This is the end from 2013.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with that, because now you could. So
yes,
good.
yeah.
I did consider that one.
The very real life account of what happens to celebrities during the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is fucking brilliant. And what's interesting is that it's based off of a short story. If I remember correctly, it's based off of a short story that was sent to Seth Rogen and James Franco.
So I know they filmed a short years ago called Jay and Seth versus the Apocalypse. And I thought it was based off of that.
I think that short was filmed based off of fan fiction.
Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome then.
Yeah. So the eventually a feature length film came from what started as just fan fiction of some guy imagining how these actors are in real life. And so when it was like, this is brilliant. Like that's how humble and awesome that these comedians and actors are.
I just love the part where Danny McBride's like, so we just got our asses beat by Hermione Granger.
Yeah, we just got our shit jacked by Hermione Granger.
Whatever.
Yeah. Disgustingly, my favorite part is when he's arguing with James Franco about, I will come all over everything in this goddamn apartment. You don't come on my stuff. Like, it's just so brilliantly stupid. And if you watch, I've seen it a billion times. So if you watch Seth Rogen, his facial expressions during that, he is trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
It's just one of those times where he could not keep character, and I totally sympathize.
Right.
The only way I could have done that scene is to be Danny McBride in the scene.
Yeah, like, right. Like you're the one doing the lines. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, you've got fucking iPads in the wall, yet you're jerking your dick like a pilgrim. Like, I just love that. I love that line. Oh wow, God, it's so great. Oh, I think that says it all. Like they're smoking throughout the whole film. It's great.
Right. So my last get to the point review is Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
That's a great one.
Aspiring rock band goes on a magical journey to enter a battle of the bands. Satan is unknowingly the MC, and they defeat him in song combat to cement their names in legend. So it was the greatest song in the world. Although it was kind of disappointing that the greatest song in the world was as lame as it was. Honestly, Tribute, I thought, was a better song than the song they sang in that movie.
It's one of those films. It still makes me appreciate Jack Black as a musician.
Oh God, yeah.
They're both great.
Yeah, they're both great. It's just people, I don't want to underestimate them, but you know what I'm saying? Like they don't think as highly of them because they're so comedic in what they do.
To me, they're relatable. Like they're goofballs in the same way we are. Just like, we're going to publish this episode. Need I say more?
No edits.
No edits. No edits.
It's all there.
It's going to be there. Boom. We're jackasses sometimes. And it's hilarious. We're not. And we still love it.
Yeah.
Nice. So there we go, right? That's it. 15.
That is all 15. Yeah, all 15.
And none of us overlapped.
No, that was actually, is that a first?
I think so.
We'll have to go through the archives and figure that out. We're not going to the archives.
We're not going to the archives.
But in fact, tell us in the comments down below. You let us know.
You let us know whether or not. Yeah. Wow. So Bill, what now is when we roll out the red carpet for you. You can tell everyone else what you've got going on.
Mhm.
What can we expect from you spring and summer 2021?
July 1st, we're going to have, well, I don't know if it's July 1st, but the closest Wednesday to July 1st, our church will be celebrating 6 years of having a building.
There we go.
And then we're going to poke fun at our city government as much as possible, and remind them that spending
probably June 30th is because July
June 30th.
Thursday.
All right. Yeah. Well,
Just
we'll show some kind of love to the city.
Yeah.
Remind them of what a serious waste of money they've done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I keep talking about having a pie fight, and I just never get around to organizing it. We've had them with our family. We get everybody around a couple hundred plates of non-dairy whipped cool topping,
Mhm.
and we put them in 200-300 paper plates, and we have a circle around the paper plates, and then we count down from 10, and by the time you hit 1, mayhem has commenced. Now this mayhem only lasts real world 5 minutes.
Mhm.
The memory lasts forever. And every time you tell the story of the pie fight, it goes on for 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
It's one of the greatest. My father passed away years ago. And my whole life, he always said, one of these days we're going to have a pie fight. One of these days, and we never did. So as soon as Dad died, I said, well, I'm going to fix this. And we went out and we bought a bunch of whipped cream, the nitrous whipped cream. We bought, armloads of cans, and we filled paper plates. My kids were maybe 7 and 9 or somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a pie fight out in our front lawn, just me, the kids, the wife. It was all great. We used real whipped cream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we sent the kids to school on Monday, they smelled a little sour. And so did we.
Oh, no.
Whipped cream does not come off of your body or out of your hair. It lingers and it goes sour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have no idea what it's like to be a sour human being. I mean, it's a horrid thing. You get this waft of god-awful gag. So we sent our kids off to school that way. And the kids look at the teachers, and teachers go, what the fuck's up with you? So, we had a pie fight. Sure you did. Teachers call us up, ask us. We go, absolutely. We had a pie fight. We use real whipped cream, and they smell sour now. We'll wash them down with vinegar when they get home. We didn't find out about vinegar until after we sent them to school.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's called great parenting.
Adequate parenting.
That's adequate.
But seriously,
I'll try
if you want to have more fun than you've ever had in your entire life, go spend $50 to $100 on non-dairy whipped cool topping.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out on a bunch of paper plates in your yard. Look at your family and friends and say, fuck you. It's time to go. And you will have the greatest time of your life.
Right.
Really, really real. I mean, I've done this a number of times. I should do this for a living. I'm old, retired, and too lazy to do it. It's putting out posters, advertising, buying Facebook ads, doing all that brouhaha.
It's a lot of groundwork. Yeah.
A lot of groundwork.
Yeah,
That's what they used to hire me for. That's groundwork. That's what they used to
do
hire
all the
me
work
for.
they didn't want to. Yeah.
That's right. All the canvassing, all that stuff. Well, that's awesome, Bill. And that sounds fun. I'll keep an eye out for that on Facebook. And of course, we'll include Facebook links below so everyone can follow Bill. And if you are looking to start a podcast, Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. With Buzzsprout, you'll get a great looking website, audio players you can drop, detailed analytics, tools to promote, and more. Follow the link in the show notes. Following the link in the show notes lets Buzzsprout know we sent you, get you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan, and helps support our show. So let's create something great together with Buzzsprout.
And if you didn't know, Kelly and I shot a movie a few years back called The Here and Now. Formerly offered on Amazon Prime, it is now exclusively located on the Fourth Wall Players Patreon page, as well as merchandise and behind-the-scenes content. Become a patron today at patreon.com/fourthwallplayers. That's patreon.com/4THWallplayers, all one word.
If you don't know why I don't do shows blazing stoned, now you know why. Because I smoke a little bit all day for anxiety.
It's chaos.
When I sit and smoke a whole bowl, and I'm like, bliss blazed, and Bill's lighting up for us. Wonderful, Bill.
Get to the point.